In today's video, we'll be installing the 550 injectors and a manual boost controller. Let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, everyone? Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Welcome to Texas Honda Channel. If you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. So in the previous video, I went to Slammin' Welding in Killeen, Texas. Josh did an awesome job relocating and recirculating this wastegate pipe into the exhaust. The welds are super strong. Highly recommend him. His information is in the description. In this video, we're going to be turning the boost up and putting in the 550cc precision injectors and taking out these 240cc factory injectors, because I will run out of injectors around 9 psi, especially with the flow of this turbo. It flows really well, so I definitely need to change those out. I will eventually be upgrading the fuel pump. It is recommended to do that before doing the injectors, but I'm working with what I have right now. I already had these 550 injectors from a previous build, and they work really well. So I'm going to solder those in and then put the boost controller right over here next to the headlight and basically just bolt it in. Now the boost controller is super easy to install. So on this boost controller right here, which I will leave a link in the description for, coming off the turbo, the line will go in, and I'll use zip ties to tighten it just so the lines don't pop off under boost pressure. It's what most people do whenever they boost. And from the boost controller's wastegate side out, a line will go to the bottom of the wastegate, and then you'll be able to adjust this a click at a time. I don't recommend just opening it up because these are super sensitive, but I'm gonna go ahead and install it. Okay, simple enough. I just bolted it right there so I can easily adjust it. Have both lines running, one from the turbo and the other to the wastegate, with zip ties on them to keep them nice and secure. So now we're going to go to the fuel injectors. Alright, on these injectors, on the left side there's a lighter color wire. On each one of them, this lighter color is going to be the yellow and black. So we're going to make the yellow and black tie to that one. And this is what I mean by the yellow and black. On the left side, there's a yellow and black on each one. Now the other one, this is a great thing for you guys to remember: brown, red, blue, yellow. The reason I say that is because this is injector 1, 2, 3, and 4. Somehow people get those mixed up. I don't know how, because they only go to one spot. But if you're tucking the harness, also really good to remember. So then you could just look, okay, this is a brown, that's number 1, red, cylinder 2, blue, cylinder 3, yellow, cylinder 4. So I'm basically just going to cut these off at the ends and then solder all those other ones in and install them, which is super simple. Okay, once you got all those done and they're all facing the right way and everything's how it should be, we're going to take the fuel rail off. We don't have to disconnect everything to do that. We can just undo the bolts on the backside. They're 10mm bolts or nuts, depending on how your intake manifold's set up. This one has bolts because it's an aftermarket. We're going to take those off. Fuel will drip out, but the engine's cold, so it won't be an issue. Then we're just basically going to pop these injectors out. Then we're going to throw these injectors in, but I'm going to use the grommets that are already down there. I have brand new O-rings up top, so basically it'll just sit in there. That's what we're going to do. Okay, now that we got the injectors in, before we start it to make sure there's no leaks, I'm going to go ahead and open a tune that my tuner and good friend Michael set up for me in the past. This tune was for these injectors, so it has all the injector times and everything like it should. So I'm basically going to go in the car, upload this, and then we'll test it to see if the injectors are leaking. Okay, I got the tune uploaded. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn the key on and we'll see if there's any leaks, and then if there isn't, I'll go ahead and start it up. Okay, there's no leaks, so we're good to go and ready to start it up. Awesome. So there's no leaks. It's running really smooth on that tune still. This engine setup is very similar to my previous tune, so a lot of the air-fuel ratios will be around the same. Now I will have to adjust a little bit here and there, but overall it sounds pretty good. The only way to really know if it's right is to go take it down the street. We'll do a very small pull. It won't be anything extravagant. I just want to make sure the boost controller is working properly, and then we'll go from there. So there we go. I'm going to make sure to data log the run. That way it records the air fuel ratios and we can adjust anything that needs changed. Obviously if it runs too rich, it'll be an issue, but it shouldn't. I don't know. We'll find out. So I'm going to go ahead and go get on it. Alright, so far the air fuel ratios looked really nice. I mean, they're on the leaner side, but I'm cruising. I'm not getting into boost. So that's actually really good for fuel economy. It's also going downhill a little bit right there. But yeah, they look beautiful. It's running really good. Just wanted to make a note. Yes, the car does have enough fuel. The gauge fluctuates up and down. The wires at the back definitely need fixed. So I'm going to do that once I change the fuel pump.
Pulling harder already.
Okay, here is the Datalog run. We're at 40% duty cycle at 11.95:1 air fuel ratio. Really good. So that means we have plenty of injector left. And that was only 3.6 to 3.8 roughly PSI. And the air fuel ratio over here is super rich, so it could have got up to speed a lot faster if this was leaned out a little more. So that's really good to know. So this whole map just needs just barely fuel removed from it. And vehicle speed, 65 miles an hour. It got up there really quick. But yeah, air intake temp, 62 degrees. Engine coolant temp, 157. This thing just cools really well, like I've said before. So basically what we do to go and adjust all of that, I'm going to have Michael do this because this is where it gets, you can screw it up real easy. But all these look good. The 14s and 15s while cruising, great. This is where we have the like lower 11, high 10s. So basically this entire column here and here, pretty much the whole thing over, would get adjusted down, but I'm not going to mess with that right now. And the fuel on number 2, which is VTEC side, looks pretty good right here. It's the lower stuff because my old turbo used to build boost super slow, and this one's way faster, so it doesn't need much adjustments, but man, it pulls really good now. Okay, so I'm super happy with it. It's working exactly how it should. Also, you can see the parts that I painted are now starting to match the rest with the grill paint. It blends in pretty well once it's heated up nicely. But the boost controller, from my position right now, turning it right will give me more boost, so I'm going to do that. You can actually hear the clicks. That should be plenty of extra, and then I can tighten that little Allen wrench spot right there down on it to lock it in place. But yeah, it's working exactly how it should on the boost controller. I just didn't have it turned up enough, but it should be now. Should be around 6 to 8, hopefully. I don't know how many clicks it's actually going to take. Some say half a click, or 1 click is half a PSI. Some say 1 click is 2 PSI or 1. So it's just one of those, you got to fine tune it. The only other issue that it really has right now is the computer. I'll put a little video clip here so you can see what I'm talking about. So as you can see, is bucking, the check engine light was flashing. At first I thought main relay, so I replaced the main relay. It's still doing it. And then I thought maybe it was the ground, so I added more grounds right there and there, and one to the battery, and it is still doing it. So I don't think it's grounds, and obviously this ground here is good. I proved that on a live stream, but probably just needs a new S300 or the chip. I'm not exactly sure. Probably just needs a new S300 chip, or it needs a new ECU. I checked the solders, they look good. I actually fixed one that didn't look good, and it's still not working how it's supposed to. It works fine 90% of the time. Just every once in a while it'll start doing that, and then I'll have to shut it off, turn it back on, and then it'll be fine. But it's just an annoyance right now more than anything. But the car still runs and drives, so I'm gonna see if I can borrow a buddy's Honda, throw it in, see if it's not a wiring problem. I went through the wires, none of them looked bad. And I shook the harness while it was running and nothing happened. But whenever I plug the computer into Honda and I wiggle a little bit, the whole thing starts messing up. So I think it's actually with the chip. So there's only one way to really find out, is to test it in another good working Honda. And if that obviously doesn't work or does the same thing, then there's a problem with the chip itself. But yeah, either way, holding up pretty good, and I'm definitely enjoying it, and I'll get a proper pool video, maybe even through third gear, which, as you guys know, my first gear goes to about 45-50, second gear goes to about 85-90, and then I have third, which goes to around 120, and then I have fourth and fifth. It's a 5-speed HF transmission out of 88 to 91 CRX or Civic with the D15 B6 in it. It's crazy, my gear ratio, but it actually pulls really well with the boost. So the more boost I get, the funner it's going to be. So definitely stay tuned, guys. I will definitely have more coming. Check back next week. I'm going to try to get weekly videos scheduled, like Monday and Friday, drop a video, and you guys come back every Monday and Friday. Hopefully there'll be a video. That's the plan. If it doesn't work out, I'm sorry in advance, but I am trying that. So we're gonna get at least 2 videos a week, maybe more, with a couple live streams if we're lucky. So I will see you guys in the next videos. Definitely subscribe if you're new here. Turn the bell icon on to get notified every upload, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As I like to say, God bless, stay safe, stay awesome.